So, Detroit, Hardpoint, just loading up. Let's choose which players we will be going to first. I'm going to jump on board. I'm going to jump on board with Bance, obviously. We've already spoke about him. We've given him a lot of love. So why not carry on? Oh, and they're going to end the game. And we will shortly have a little bit of news. I think it's just due to maybe some classes. I am not too sure. We'll get some information on that for you guys. Rel, how are you feeling?
Very hot, actually. That's the only way I can describe it under that mask. But I am here. Hello. I am Rel. I'm hilarious. I wear a horse's mask when we start a stream. Detroit Hardpoint. Yes, we are starting this right back up, though. So whatever there was the issue the first time round, we're going to be going straight back into it now. I think there are maybe some amateur bracket games still going on, or some scrims, because there's some gamers being very vocal around the event. So some serious games are still continuing. But we have the grand final now. This is what it's all come down to here at AM2PRO. It is Exertus going head-to-head with Epsilon. 7k was the prize pool previous to this event starting, Momo. £7,000, 3,000 to first place, 2,000 to second.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a lot of money on the line, by all means. You know, people come here to win. They don't come here for, second, third, fourth place. They want that first place. They want the prestigious, just to be able to go away and say, look, we took first place. Bit of bragging rights online. These guys play scrims all day, and especially Epsilon, they just won obviously the previous tournament over in Ego. So to have to be back-to-back champions is really, a statement to shout about.
Yeah, and it's quite interesting really talking about Epsilon and the whole Epsilon Vitality rivalry in the past. So it's been Epsilon TCM, and they were always the top contenders to take championships. As it currently stands with the pool of players available, it's always Epsilon Vitality. This is what we keep seeing now. But Vitality with that shock exit early on, finishing 7th, 8th place. I know there were some very disappointed players within those guys. Do you think it was a case maybe they underestimate their opponents, or just that they maybe weren't good enough? Because the two losses that they got were a 2-0 defeat and a 3-0 defeat.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty straightforward. It was very close games. They could have done a lot better, but they had that replacement. I mean, yes, it was a very prestigious player, Madcat coming into the team. You couldn't have asked for anyone better. Probably the best Slayer in Europe right now, but it just didn't work for them on the day.
Well, commiserations for those guys. I mean, for a lot of teams here, top 8 would be a brilliant finish, but Vitality, anything less, I suppose, than first place, arguably second, is always going to be disappointing. I know a lot of people that were making predictions for this event, even those guys on the Deserto forums. I think Phil and Rez actually put their predictions up, and I know they were featuring high up. Yeah. But Exertus were, in my opinion, the dark horse. I mean, I always knew that they were going to perform well, but I didn't realise or didn't think they would actually make their way to the grand final.
Of course, I saw them as a top 6, maybe top 14, because I saw obviously Epsilon Vitality, and I really saw Infuse kind of putting it out there and breaking into that top 4, top 3. Yeah. They obviously finished top 16, which I know, speaking to Quicker, he was very, very unhappy about, but he's stuck around. He's been watching the games, watching the professional players now, as he has officially become an amateur. Obviously Swedish champion, now to an amateur player here at AM2PRO.
It's got to be disappointing, really, when you think about it.
Maybe you should just go back to YouTube. You never know.
It's always an option for him, but in any case, let's get right into this game now. We have waited long enough. Epsilon go head-to-head now with Exertus for the second AM2PRO Championship, starting off now with Rated.
Yeah, Rated on your screen. 3 kills go straight in favour of Exertus. Sorry, Rated trying to do everything he can, but he's not going to be able to take the whole team down himself. He's going to take one down and die. Marky coming up off the spawn, taking down Desire. Marky really needs to get into the game here, struggling to get over the fence even. It looks like Exertus come off very, very hard for heals. They've been playing pretty much all day, lose a bracket run, and it's clearly showing right now. Marky 3-2, Reedy and Joe struggling a little bit on 0-2.
Well, Joe now on point, picking up that kill there, going straight into school, seeing what he can do, going for the sweep around, and he is going to get that surprise attack now. I don't think anyone was expecting him, but there to answer Exertus' call was Vortex. Big plays from both teams very early on onto the P1 area in Cube.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm just going to throw a little bit of a prediction out here. I think Exertus is going to start off very, very well, as you've already seen, purely because of how much they've been playing. They're very warmed up. Epsilon have been waiting a long, long time to play this final, but there's, just the pure talent on their team. They will shine through. They may take a little bit of time to do so, but Exertus really could capitalize on that.
Okay, well, it is Nathan who's very wisely pushed through a very conventional strategy. He's left one person in there. The spawns have flipped, though. Good plays from Nathan. Again, really reading this game well. Finds himself actually picking up the points in this hard point and securing kills as well. We're going to stay on board with Nathan on a hot 3 streak. 7-3, 3 captures. Continuing this amazing form now as he stays in green.
Yeah, Nathan currently on a 4-kill streak. Backing off into the corner. He knows where one is. He's going to take down one player. Switches the movement. He's on point right now for Nathan. He's literally ducking and diving everywhere. Raid breaks that with a fantastic 2-piece there. The aggression from him is really on point at the moment.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So much aggression being showed here by Rated. Still in green now. He is on a 5 streak, 10-5, and Rated, sometimes the unsung hero for Epsilon in a lot of respects, makes these huge plays but doesn't get the credit as the bigger community members, so to speak, such as Marky, such an influential and crucial member of this team, I would say. Always calling the shots, always guiding his team, and I suppose keeping them calm and composed when it matters the most, because Epsilon's sometimes prone to argue a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, obviously the players know themselves very, a lot of the team with each other for, a long time. Joe, very quiet player, potentially one of the most underrated players in Europe. A lot of, top players say he says he doesn't get the credit he deserves. The objective plays that he put on for Epsilon is incredible. Currently on 4-8, not having the best games at the moment, but I'm sure he's going to heat up a little bit later on. Put on. Joe is on your screen, ASM1 in hand. He's going to duck and dive just out of the way, take a little bit of a damage. Wisely backs off there, still in control of the hardpoint right now, and he's going to get challenged by not only one player, but 2. And Reedy comes in there to save the day.
Yeah, and Joe, of course, previously featured under the Aware line of the previous Aware gaming team. Actually, Momo, you featured in yourself. But he was effectively your replacement. Not a hard player to find to replace you, but a player nonetheless, and he's just excelled and gone further and further in competitive Call of Duty ever since then. But he is struggling in this game so far.
Yeah, it's good to see, obviously, players like Joe come through the ranks, obviously. Not as, he's not just come in and stormed kind of straight to the top. He's worked his way there. He's put a lot of time and effort into it, and still jumping on board. Joe on your screens right now, 5-11. Let's see what he can do.
Okay, here we go now with Joe still on board. Well, let's obviously switch things up to Reedy just for a moment here. He's managed to find 1 kill. Nathan does go down. He needs to find his way into this hard point, though, as the challenges are being made. It is going to be Exertus, who found himself in the dominant position. Reedy still alive, but he is weak, and he is coming head-to-head, and he does finally go down after that gunfight.
Okay, and Bansi on your screen. ASM1 in the hands of Bansi. Bansi's obviously a very influential player here. 11-10, going positive at the moment. He's actually leading his squad currently about 30 points in the lead. Desire gets taken down. Reedy Rated, and Reedy again with a 3-piece. Reedy's really hotting up here. And Rated just locking this down, really, creeping up on them. The points are getting narrower and narrower as we speak. Rated just maintaining this. He's going to get challenged very shortly as it transfers over. He's going to have to make a way over to the school hardpoint. Mark with a double kill.
Rated, though, with a 2 streak still here, continuing, making his way to school, as you say, Momo. Gonna see what is happening here. He does get shut down. Marky still on top. Atlas Cube now trying to use those exo abilities to find his way into this hardpoint area. Still a very close game, actually, but it is Exertus who are taking a lead. Epsilon are on the back foot. It's these guys that need to be making the plays here now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, sticking it on board with Marky. He's really coming into his own here. Has the ball. This is where he's comfortable, just kind of slaying around his team, not particularly in the hardpoint, just putting kills on the board, making sure his team are in control of the hardpoint, which they are. And even though Vortex is dashing back and forward, he's not doing much for his team at the moment. Marky B is in full control. He's going to take down Vortex in the end. Really good play from Marky. He's not going to stop anytime soon, and Bansi goes down. Marky charging in with his knife. I think he needs to get a gun out and reload, as he has an ASM1 as a backup. Marky is really hardening up. 6 kills on the bounce for him.
Oh yeah, he's playing absolutely great here. Still alive. Really unfortunate, actually, not to make that kill on the entrance to the school. Epsilon, though, do manage to secure the lead. They got a lot of points in that school area. Now straight away into P1, continuing this surge that they found out of nowhere. Exertus holding that lead for quite some time, but now it's all Epsilon.
And this is what we love about Epsilon. Yes, they've taken maybe about 5 minutes to warm up properly and get into the game, but they are just in the lead by only 15 points. Exertus proving their worth here in the grand final of AM2PRO. Vance with a kill, picks it up with a 2nd kill. Double kill for him. He's going to stop no time soon. Triple kill for Bansi, taking down 3 plays from Epsilon, and Desire joining him there on the scoreboard. He's really narrowing this gap, Rel, and it's going to be even any time soon. Oh, yeah, maybe a little bit too early to jump into further hardpoint areas. That's actually going to be a little bit down the line. He's obviously just providing some support around the sides. Vortex, though, trying to just get his way in there. Look at that scoreline, so close between both of these teams. It's going to be a very exciting best-of-5 series. Desire quick to go for the rotation to green. literally, it is the caster's curse right now, but everyone we jump on board with is just getting streaked, so let's stick on board with Desire, see what he can do. He's on the rotation already. You can see in their minimap there, 2 of the Epsilon players have gone for the rotation wisely, but it is in control of Exertus right now. Desire still there, tries the melee kill, but backed up by Nathan for the kill himself. Drop shot for Desire, and he does get taken down. Marky very cleverly sees him there lying on the floor.
Okay, well now with Rated for Epsilon here, as I say, definitely a player that we need to start giving a little bit more credit. Currently top of the leaderboard for his team there. Doing a great job, 5 catches. Very even spread, actually, across both teams, with the exception of Nathan, who's got them 10 catches. Yeah,
Joe just got a huge 3-piece there, which unfortunately we didn't catch here on stream. Vortex with a double kill himself, but Rated in the hard point does take down Bansi. He's holding up right now. Desire answers back very quickly with only 20 seconds left on the clock. You're going to see the rotation come into play very, very soon, but Marky with a 2-piece gets taken down. Vortex breaking that hard point so convincingly.
And this is back and 2 stuff, still very, very close. It's Rated who's in the area, though, just about surviving that gunfight. Did pick up a 2-piece here, and you can just see the carnage all around there. The paintball spray around that hardpoint area shows the amount of gunfights that have been going down. Really difficult shot there for Rated. Wisely decides not to continue trying to challenge that, as we do switch over to the next hardpoint, which again, Epsilon initially in control, but look at this. Exertus have turned the tables. Big 3 kills, made that 4 as Joe goes down, and now Exertus in full control of Garage.
Absolutely, and we've 40 points still left on the board here. Exertus could not only take the lead here, but extend that very much. So Nathan's the only one left alive. He's going to be contested. 2 plays from Epsilon come in. Joe takes down Nathan. That is going to go in contention of Epsilon. Rated and Marky in the hill, racking up those points, trying to extend their lead. It is very, very close. Rated locking down this hill right now. Let's see what he can do. Rated gets taken down, and Marky as well.
Oh, and I love that play. Rated and Marky combining so effectively, but now it's the turn of Exertus. Nathan finds himself in there, having an exceptional game as well. He finds 2, but it's going to be Epsilon shutting him down once again. 4 big kills by Epsilon in that garage area.
Yeah, Reedy and Raid really combining as the duo. You saw Nathan actually get a little bit turned on. Fair enough, Reedy actually backed out and wisely came back. But going into the second last hard point, Desire is on a bit of a hot streak here. He's taken down 2. Going to switch to the ASM1. He's going to get taken down by Marky. That could have been a huge play there, but Marky said no.
Rated now needs to get to this hard point if they want to take this. He's done a great job there, and immediately Epsilon collectively push Exertus right out. You just saw that dominated kill feed there, completely red to blue, and Epsilon outslaying when it matters the most. They are extending that lead in the most important, crucial moment of this game towards the dying minute.
Absolutely. What a well-timed nade from Rated there. Rated's playing out of his skin right now. 38 and 26, about to hit his 40 bomb. He will want to do so. Grenades flying in left, right, and center. Only 20 seconds left on the hardpoint. Marky trying to play a wise game, and he comes out on top there. Cleverly watches the window, and Vortex cannot break there. Sorry, that was Nathan. Nathan unfortunately falling. Bansi answering with a few kills. Now, 8 seconds left on the clock. We do see a lead of roughly around 45. This is still doable for Exertus, but this is a lot to ask. Rated about to hit his 40 bomb.
Yeah, it's actually just slipped outside of their grasp there. There's only 50 seconds available on that P5, the very final hard point in rotation, which is going to mean Epsilon will be taking this first map. No doubt they're going to see this through and try and just extend that lead, maybe even go for the full 250 points. But what a close game we saw so far. I've got to say, Epsilon really turned up the gas when it came to those final few hard points, Momo.
Absolutely. I mean, you could see that, you know, I think at this point, I mean, you know, I've been in that position when there's around 30 seconds left on the clock, you're not even adding the subs up as we have the chance to do so. You're just playing out of your minds, and, you know, Epsilon, you can see Joe here really trying to get into the hard point. He's going to do so, and he's hopefully going to secure this for himself. Obviously, we know, and the crowd back at home know that they have won it, but in the heat of the moment, obviously, they will be a little bit nervous. But they take that in quite succession. However, it was a lot closer than I thought, Rel, at 232 to 210 and 11 and 12.
Wow, yeah, so great play there by Exertus. And as I said, an incredibly close game to start things off here. I mean, we're so familiar with this extremely dominant Epsilon team that just kind of cast everyone aside and leave them in the shadows. But a lot of the games they've been playing today have been very narrow victories for them. And Exertus just showing the vulnerabilities of Epsilon now, showing that they do have what it takes to at least deal some significant damage. I mean, you know, we're talking 20 points there, 20-point difference that could have easily changed in a single hardpoint area.
Of course, and obviously looking at the stats on your screen here, you see 14 captures for Nathan. Unfortunately, he didn't secure it for his team. Every single one on Exertus did go negative. I mean, KD isn't everything, but it is reflective in the score sometimes, and you can see what a game Rated just had. 4 defends, 7 captures, 1.38 kill death ratio, 44 kills to his name over a 10-minute period against 4 players. That is incredible.
Oh, yeah. Huge plays from him. So we're going to be seeing a lot more of that as this best-of-5 series continues. That is for sure. And, just giving a bit of a recap of how these teams have found themselves through to this route. Exertus have fought long and hard through that lower bracket. I mean, we saw such strong play for them opening out in this tournament. They were getting a lot of attention early on from teams who were thinking, hey, these guys, we knew they were good. We didn't realize they were this good at LAN. But Epsilon are kind of just expected to do well these days. So maybe that complacency is started to show a little bit, where Exertus are realizing, we could win a championship here.
Yeah, of course. And the hunger that's on the stage right now, obviously, Exertus have that, this is, potentially first, maybe only chance to win a LAN for the likes of Vitality and Millennium going out. However, obviously, the youth has kind of come together in that squad. They're only young players. Epsilon might not know as well as they would if they were playing Vitality how they would play. So they've got that, surprise attack, if you like, on game modes like Search and Destroy, which will be coming up very shortly with yourself on Terrace. So that's going to be exciting to say the least.
We are going to go to a very, very quick break, though, just before we get into that game, guys. So do not go anywhere. We'll be back with you very shortly. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the second round here in the grand final of AM2PRO. It is Exertus going head-to-head with Epsilon. We're jumping straight into the Search and Destroy now on Terrace. And, of course, we want to be seeing the attackers, the aggressors for this game. Vortex with that bomb in hand.
Absolutely. On your screen there, Vortex has the bomb. Just going a little bit slower than usual. 3 versus 3. Rated and Desire have been taken down. Rated obviously getting a kill beforehand. Nathan kicking it off for his team with a kill. Let's see what he can do. It looks like Vortex is taking a very, very slow route. There's no kind of urgency about that. But let's expand that mini-map just a little bit for you. And let's see what they can do. We can see Epsilon, something I've seen them do for a very long time, almost push together, even though they're on the defensive. Vortex going to see the wrath of Marky B right there. That's going to be 2 versus 3. Can Bansi and Nathan pull off a miracle? All down to Bansi for the 1 versus 3.
Well, Bansi was putting up huge figures on Search and Destroy earlier today, and he's going to have to show that once again if you want to take this round. As you say, 1 versus 3 is a lot to ask. He's found Marky, but all 3 Epsilon players challenge him at once, and there was only ever going to be one outcome of that, Momo. Epsilon 1 round up.
Absolutely. You saw Bansi, just his movement there, the way he took down that first player. If it was a 1 versus 1, I'd be very confident, but just the way that, 1 versus 3, Reedy, Joe, and obviously Rated there, all gunning for him at once. There was no chance for him getting out of there. Let's jump on board with the attacking team. Let's see their strategy. Will they push quickly towards the A bomb site? Will they take a slower route to B? It is going to be Epsilon. We're jumping on board with Reedy. Let's see what he's using. It's ASM1. See what he can do.
Yeah, I mean, just going back to you, Momo, you've obviously competed in the past alongside Marky for quite an extended duration. When it comes to Search and Destroy, what does he bring to the table?
I mean, it's just leadership from Marky all the way. It's, making the shots, even though if the right, the wrong, he's always there to, almost take the good comments, the bad comments. He really doesn't mind, but he will make the call. He will make the instruction for the team to go forward. And as you can see for Epsilon, they're in the grand final. It's working for them today. Marky leading his team right there, picking up a kill himself. Only 28 seconds left on the clock. The bomb has been planted. Bansi has a sniper. This could potentially be very, very useful, but also very, very much a detriment to his team. And as you can see there, isn't going to pull off that 1v2 and defuse, and is going to go 2-0 in favour of Epsilon there. Rated and Marky kicking it off with 3 kills in the first couple of rounds there, heating up straight away.
Yeah, and I'm not sure I agree with Bansi's play there, because of course it's 1 versus 3. You've almost got to do something stupid and just hope it pulls off, especially when that bomb's been planted. But he left himself so exposed and so vulnerable there. He was almost asking for that round just to be over. In any case, though, it is Exertus now on the attack. 2 rounds down, 1 round down in the best-of-5 series. And, of course, if Epsilon win this first best-of-5, that will be all she wrote, and they will walk away champions. But second place, of course, a second place at AM2PRO, not bad, £2,000. And it's a very good outing for these guys.
I've got to say, Epsilon are looking very, very good here with 3 and 4 kills as I finish my sentence there. Not a kill was made for the team of Exertus. Joe, I believe, got a double kill mid-map. Reedy as well, combining with him. As you can see on the kill cam, it's actually Joe with the final 2 there on the screen. One thing I would say about Joe, obviously we touched on him a little bit in the hard point, just kind of being a bit underrated, a bit of an unsung hero. On the Search and Destroy, I've seen so many 2 pieces after 2 pieces. Not particularly, clutch plays, 1v3s, 1v4s, but he's just so consistent throughout. Let's jump on board. Let's jump on board with Joe if we can.
Yeah, Joe. And, he's obviously top fragging for his team here as well. And Joe, he does kind of adapt this lone wolf role in some situations. Epsilon are collectively a great team, huge teamwork between them. But you just see Joe go on these mad rushes, as he's just done now. And he's more than confident to push out and I suppose, avoid the support of his teammates. in order to get that element of surprise.
Yeah, I almost see him as like a young Jerd almost. The confidence that he plays with, the movement that he brings, obviously SMG in hand, does get taken down by Nathan. 2 versus 3 in favour of Exertus right now. They need to win this round 3-0. It's obviously not a great start, but putting that 4-0, it's almost putting it beyond comeback. But Reedy is the only player to be able to contribute to this, and left in a 1 versus 3.
Okay, well, Reedy, it's all to play for here. They could make this 4-0 if Reedy pulls off something special. However, he has no idea that Nathan is just waiting for him round that corner. He is gonna spot him though there, and Nathan very slow to check both directions. 1 versus 2, certainly more achievable now. Reedy is on the attack. This I guess works against him. He has to either get the bomb plant or both of these kills, so he's got to act fast now.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I would say is looking at the minimap, I mean, Reedy potentially is going to come up in a 1 versus 1, and he probably will win, as I eat my own words. I was going to say win the gunfight, but the point that I was trying to make was the Exertus teammate wasn't in a position to trade. He was in the complete opposite side of the map. And if Reedy was to do that and get that bomb down, he'd be in a very, very strong position. I would like to see Exertus stick a little bit closer together, but Vortex and his gun steal alone won him that round. So obviously kicking it off with a point on the board. 3-1 in favour of Epsilon right now. Yeah,
and it's always a really difficult decision to make, I suppose, when you're on the defend. If you are in a 2 versus 1, do you split yourself across both bomb sites, or both commit to defending one and almost secure a victory if that bomb site's pushed? So, that is the mental game of Call of Duty, if you like, and how well you can read the game and read your opponents comes into place a lot more.
Yeah, Rated just getting the first blood. First blood, so important. You can see on the minimap, Epsilon have done what I was saying, which was push B, all 4 players on the defence. They've used this strategy so many times, and it works for them the majority, why they're in the grand final. 3 players just tracking back to B, and you can see there on the minimap as well, 1 player from Epsilon is lurking around the A-bomb site just in case. That's going to be Reedy, but Vortex, bomb in hand, 55 seconds left on the clock. He needs to make a move.
If Exertus knew that Reedy was the only player at that bomb site, they could just swarm him and probably get that bomb down. Of course, they don't have the benefit of constant COD vision and a minimap which signals all the players, so they would, of course, not know that. But they have decided to commit, it would seem, towards me. Oh, and that's a big melee from Rated there. 1 versus 2 now. Reedy all on his own.
Yeah, Rated got a bit of COD timing in his favour. Reedy, if you want anyone on your squad for a 1 versus 2, it is going to be Reedy. Very good in these search and destroy kind of plays. He must have spotted that player in midair. Is he going to win the dogfight? Yes, he is. Going to see the second player. Can Reedy pull off the 1 versus 2? That was incredible. Reedy has just propelled his team into the victory. 4-1, 3-2. It's such a significant difference. Let's just catch that once again, all in one clip. Reedy wins the dogfight midair, and not only that, wins another dogfight there. Reedy really kicking it off. Destroy.
I mean, the accuracy that he showed with that BAL was insane. Pretty much every bullet connected there from him. You can't blame Exertus for the decision. The second player did go for the challenge, which was the wise option in that case, with Reedy exposed, but Reedy just outclassed them. So it's as simple as that. Reedy currently boasting a 5-to-1 kill death ratio alongside the 1 plant that he has.
Yeah, absolutely. And kicking off in round number 6, Bansi with another first blood for his team, really putting numbers on the board himself. Reedy and the boys from Epsilon just punishing Nathan there. Marky with a double kill, Reedy with a turn on, and I don't think he's even got a chance. Desire's left it a 1 versus 2 after to track right back to his spawn against Reedy and Joe.
But look at this, Desire has made a good call here. He's gone towards the right bomb site. This is really, he could do this. First kill is made, 1 versus 1 now.
Yeah, ASM1 in hand. Could he prefer a BAL? I think he's trying to look to pick that up, and that's what I would have done.
Very smart.
And he has picked that up. He's going to face the 1 versus Reedy. He's going to win the gunfight there. Play. That is what they need. I mean, going down 5-1 in a search and destroy is so disheartening. But he has kept his team in it here, 4-2 in favour of Epsilon.
Yeah, great play from Desire, and he did exactly what needed to be done there. He knew that he was outranged with his ASM1, went for the BAL, got it, and wielded it so well. He knew that both of those plays would be around that bomb site as well, because when you come up against top teams, generally they don't split themselves across the map. They will always stick together, so, just the experience, I suppose, maybe not as much as some of the Epsilon guys, but these guys have played a long time online. You can't forget that.
Yeah, I mean, everyone here at AM2PRO has obviously got that experience. Looking like Joe went for the stomp there, didn't pull off, but Marky traded kills with him, and it's going to be 2v3 in favour of Epsilon here. Reedy's top fragging for his team at 6-2, really having a good game at Search and Destroy. Obviously, Rated was the man of the hour on Hardpoint, and it looks like it's going to go for a 1 versus 2 now. Can Nathan pull off this?
Let's see. He's up against Marky and Rated, currently bottom of the team for Epsilon, but still both positive and doing well. Nathan's actually
I suppose, struggling somewhat relative to the rest of his teammates. So if there's a time to really step up, a time to shine, it is now. That bomb hasn't been collected.
Yeah, Nathan is, he's not only a little bit further away from the bomb as he would like, but he has 2 players against. He's going to spot Reedy. He's going to give away his position. You can see Epsilon there backing off quite widely, but they're going to double up. Be very surprised if Nathan could have took that. The way, he needed to make that kill with the first initial shots because gave his position away, and when you've got Rated backing you up like that, it's only going to end one way, and that is in favour of Epsilon. They could potentially be taking the second map in the next round here on Search and Destroy Terrace.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing he had going for him there was the fact that he knew where both Epsilon players were. However, they also both knew where he was. So was a really difficult challenge for him. Epsilon could close things out now and take the 2-0 lead, and we could be seeing a very swift grand final if they were to also take the uplink, but only time will tell. Exertus never ever write these guys off. Reedy, though, going straight for that
point. Going for the very, very quick plant here. Still 4 versus 4. Plant is about to go down the next couple of seconds. That is down. Reedy obviously just needs to nip away. He's using his exo abilities to his advantage. And I think the person who's going to get the first blood, really, on this 35-second clock, is going to take it. But you can see Epsilon in such a strong position. Rated and Marky combining there, making it 4 versus 2. 1 versus 3. And as he finished my sentence, once again, it's all over. 6-2 in favour of Epsilon.
Yeah, and they just made that look so easy in that final round of Search and Destroy. All of those kills were picked up so efficiently as soon as that bomb had gone down. And you can kind of hear from the Epsilon guys, there's no real hype about them. This is just business as usual for them. They did struggle, though, prior to this when they went up against Rift. So they went down to the last map. And what's quite interesting is there seems to be this Epsilon, Exertus, Rift triangle going on here where one team is the other team's weakness and vice versa.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, Rift took Epsilon, I believe it was to last map.
Yes.
Search and Destroy. Then Exertus took down Rift quite easily.
Yep.
And then obviously Epsilon here, just really showing their class, showing the experience, showing what they can do on the main stage. One thing I would point out, maybe Exertus, they feeling the nerves a little bit more than Epsilon.
Maybe. And, it's an easy comment to make, but it's more than likely not the case. These guys have been playing this whole weekend, and whilst we say they are perhaps a newer team to the scene in relative to Epsilon, they've still been around a long time as an organisation, and these players have played a long time together. I know some of them have played at events before, so I don't think that's particularly the problem, but I suppose when you go up against a team that is more recognised, for lack of better words, I really don't mean it in this way, but not that you're starstruck, but it's like, oh, we're against Epsilon. This is as big as it gets now. If we can beat these, we are the best. It's that kind of feeling that they must be having.
Absolutely. You've seen teams that have done it before. I mean, it was Rift who took down Vitality, I believe. Obviously, they went up against them, and I don't think they believed they were going to win.
It was 3-0, wasn't it?
Exertus, actually.
Or 2-0. Vitality didn't get a map off them, if I want to remember.
Yeah, and it's just like, shock things like that can either propel you to a grand final like this, or if, were to fall to the loser bracket, it is a completely different game. And obviously, going into the loser bracket is not what you want to be. However, these teams have fought their way into the grand final. Let's go on to map number 3. It's going to be Comeback Uplink, one of my, in fact, my favourite Uplink match, just for the sheer intensity of things. Let's kick it off board with Bansi.
Well, mine is Biolab, just because I can say Biolink. That is purely the only reason. I just like saying it. But anyway, Comeback, I think it is a favourite of the competitive community. All jokes aside, it's a very well-balanced map for Uplink, and you'll see exactly why. This glass area, though, Momo, tell us a bit more about this, because it's so important.
Yeah, obviously gaining control of this glass area is just obviously surrounding the drone spawn, and if you can control this, obviously he's dominant to get control of top blue, and dominating the spawns and pushing the other team out to spawn pretty much at green, which is not where you want to be spawning. You can see them all fighting over it. Looking in your mini-map, there is, I think, 6 players going all around this glass area. It looks like he's going to go in favour of Epsilon at the moment, but Nathan's doing everything that he can to stop that. Drone has not moved at all, still in the spawn. It is just slaying power all the time right now. Rated, again, we saw him hot off the heels on Hardpoint, kicking off 3-0 right now on the Uplink.
And it is going to go in the hands of Epsilon. Marky is going to be making the first play here. Bansi able to shut him down. That's 3 down against Epsilon, though. Reedy is going to have to go heavy defense now. He needs to make a big play. Does find one. It's not the Uplink drone carrier, though, who has eluded him. And the throw goes down, and it is going to be 0.1 to Exertus.
Yeah, Reedy was literally chasing his own tail there. He was running around in circles, didn't know what to do. One thing I will say is just before in glass, Desire got an awesome 3-piece, which we just missed, unfortunately. However, Desire really kicking it off. I just want to stay on board with him because he's actually in control of the Uplink. throws that away, picks up a kill with Nathan. Nathan actually picking up a double kill. Ooh. This is looking very good for Exertus, as Reedy is the only one alive.
Yep, and this is going to be another point. There's not really much that can be done to stop it. Make that 2 points as Exertus extend that lead once again, 3-0 after just 1 minute 30.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue that this is their favoured side. Obviously, some teams obviously prefer one side than another. However, you know, as the grand final of AM2PRO, everyone is obviously on their mark. You know, they have to be playing on, you know, good on both sides. Marky looking to throw that out of bounds. I think he's just trying to get a little bit of team control here, map control, should I say. And I can almost hear Marky myself in my head, just knowing what he'll be saying, just saying, look guys, slow things down, let's throw this out of play, let's slay around. We've got the slaying power on our team, and that is what they're going to do. Let's see if we can rate it. Can put some numbers on the board, kicking it off with 1.
There we go. It just seems to be Epsilon on defense, though, as Nathan again making big plays, and Nathan just being such a nuisance for Epsilon at the moment. It finally does go down to the hands of Marky. It's Epsilon Joe in control of that drone, just throwing it into glass. A really unfortunate bounce for him. Doesn't want to collect it just yet, as he needs to engage in this gunfight.
Absolutely. 2 minutes 30 left on the clock. Joe with a double kill. Joe is really hotting up, and this is a player which has been very, very underrated from the competitive scene for a very long time, and he's coming into the grand final very hot. 3 kills under his belt. He's not looking to stop here. ASM 1 in hand does get taken down, I think because of that stun grenade. However, Epsilon are going to put a few points on the board. 2 points for them, evening things up a little bit. However, Exertus still in the lead at 3-2.
And Joe was just mowing everything down in his path, then melting everything in front of him. And as a result, we see Epsilon finally get some points on the board, but it is still Exertus in the lead with 1 point, looking to extend that now as they're on what looks like another very convincing push. Epsilon set up well to defend this, but it's going to be a very easy throw. It's intercepted by Rated, though.
Absolutely, and you can see Rated Uplink in hand. He's going to reset that, get a little bit of time for his team. Does get taken down. Rated actually stomped his own player there. I'm sure that wasn't intentional. Bansi on your screen. Now, Bansi, a very, very top player and really making himself known almost at this event. Going into it, people were saying he was picked up as a slave for Exertus, and he's really kind of shown that here at AM2PRO.
Bance taking a lot of fire. Pretty much 1 bullet would take him down. There we go. Rated shuts down Bance, exposing things on the flank now for Epsilon. Kills followed up, but Nathan and Vortex, great defensive work, and we're almost reaching this kind of brief stalemate that we sometimes see in Uplink, where a few kills go back and 2, and then no one's really able to push that Uplink drone.
Yeah, Desire now just trying to gain a little bit of control, doesn't want to push things too quickly. Marky spots him in the corner of his eye and takes him down. Joe just bouncing around here. Joe, we've seen time after time picking up these double kills. He's going to take down 1, a push onto the enemy base, gets taken down by Bansi. He's going to make a mark straight away, and now it's 3-3. Epsilon securing another point here, drawing things up here with only 1 minute left to go.
Yeah, they've certainly brought it back, but I've got to say, Exertus still looking the better team for me. You know, it might not be reflected necessarily in the stats that we can see in the top right-hand corner, but certainly in terms of pushing, Epsilon have largely been defending for this game. They've had a great counter. We saw Joe, when he picked up that rampage of kills, it allowed one of his teammates, I think it was Reedy, yes it was, who actually got the carry capture. But apart from that, there's not been all that much from Epsilon.
Yeah, I mean, I can almost see like Epsilon just kind of slowing things down, waiting to go into the other side. I mean, I know there's only 20 seconds left to go. It's an easy call to make right now, but I think going into the next side, Epsilon are really going to gain control of that glass control and just push out time after time. Saying that, Marky gets a play for himself, gets the drone, puts it into the enemy base, and he's going to take the lead going into round number 2, potentially the last round of the tournament, if you like, here at AM2PRO, with a 2-0 victory so far in the series. You know, if he takes this next side, he's going to be the champion of AM2PRO. Obviously, recently coming off the back of a victory at Ego. Epsilon looking very, very strong.
Yeah, well, you're absolutely right, Mo. This could be it now. These final 5 minutes may determine the victor. Let's just recap what we've seen so far. So Epsilon going head-to-head against Exertus. Epsilon soared all the way through the upper bracket. They've yet to drop a series in this entire tournament. Exertus fought long and hard to find the way into this grand final, but as a result, they have to win 2 back-to-back best-of-5s. Epsilon only have to win 1, which means they only have to now win this uplink, 2-0 up in the series.
Absolutely. 5 minutes left to go. You can see the drone is in hands of Reedy. Let's see what he can do. We're going to expand that mini-map just for you right now. He makes the play. Vortex does get taken down. Nathan making a couple of kills for himself. Sorry, Vortex actually making the kills, which is great for Exertus, but just at the wrong times. That's going to put Epsilon in the lead by 2 points. Desire trying to gain control of this glass. This is what it's all about. This is what we keep saying here. You need to gain control of this glass area.
Yeah, the most important point in this map on comeback is just to continually push through there. There's always the favoured route, and we can see that now. Desire actually converts that to a 1 point, and he probably could have made that 2. But, hey, it is what it is. At least he got 1 point on the board for his team. Epsilon pick up 3 quick successive kills.
Yeah, really big kill from Bansi there. Nathan as well coming down. Bansi gets taken down by Reedy. If they can gain control of this blue area, they should be able to get another point, but Vortex is doing everything in his power to stop that. The one thing I would point out for Exertus right now, everyone but Desire is on a positive kill death ratio. It's really showing through what they can do here in a grand final of AM2PRO.
It's so difficult because the 1 point down, they've got to, in my opinion, they've just got to keep doing what they're doing. It's like I said.
Oh, Reedy
slides in and he's going to get 2 points for his efforts there, and that was such a clutch melee. In any other situation, he probably would have died in there but the armor that the Uplink drone grants you has just saved his life and allowed them to get a further 2 points. That's another point, though, a big throw, and Epsilon now striding ahead. I was just about to be saying, Momo, Exertus need to keep doing what they're doing because I feel they were the stronger side, but not anymore. That's a big difference in scoreline.
Yeah, but with 3 minutes left on the clock, we cannot rule them out. You see Vortex here putting a couple of points on there with the dunk. Joe and Ray are going to pick up a few kills, but they're only 2 points behind now. Epsilon, yes, they're ahead, but they have not won this. We cannot rule Exertus out, especially when Nathan's pulling off double kills like that. 26 and 15. Nathan will be very frustrated if he can't pull off the victory with that.
Well, there's still plenty of time for something to happen here. Desire making a big charge, and there we go. The score's evened up. 8-8 now, and Exertus right back into this game. Out of nowhere, they've found himself racking up a lot of points in quick succession. Still all to play for here. Epsilon looked like they'd run away with it.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to say well played to Exertus, especially Desire there. He's not potentially putting up the big numbers, but he's putting in the plays for his team with 4 uplinks points to his name. Vortex in control. He's going to try and fire that drone over to the enemy base. Epsilon will be trying to capitalize on that, and will they gain control? Looks like Vortex is trying to say no. He's going to get the drone in hand. He's all alone. I'm not sure what he's trying to do, but he's juking it out. Will he make the 1 point play? He's going to throw that. That was fantastic play from Vortex there. All alone in the enemy base. Managed to juke it out and even secure his point for his team.
That was a huge individual play by him to pick up those kills and very sneakily slither like a snake, and then out of nowhere get that point. Great play from Vortex.
Yeah, Marky's just trying to gain a little bit of control. 2 minutes on the clock. Again, this is not over. This is all to play for. Exertus really coming into their own right now. Drone in hand. It looks like he's going to go in favor of Reedy. Reedy going to make a very big important kill. Trying to pass there. Gets blocked by the wall. Sure, he won't be too hesitant to throw that again. Joe's making progress up the map. However, there is going to be 1 play from Exertus. If they do make the 2 point play, which is potentially what they need to do, Reedy's just going to try and duck and dive. He makes 1 play. The drone is going to be on hand. I can't even keep it rated with the dunk. Wow, this is really going to the wire. 1 minute 30 left on the clock.
Still 1 point between both of these teams after the carry capture. Marky's managed to pick up that uplink drone, and Marky about to be the most annoying player in the world and throw that. Oh no, he's got shut down. That ball, the uplink drone is now opening glass. Rated going big with a big 2-piece.
Yeah, Rated did exactly what he needed to do. Again, he's juking himself out. He's looking for the hole. Can he shoot it in? It isn't the hole that he should be shooting in, but he's going to go for it. Gets taken down. Vortex throwing it out of there. 10-9 still in favor of Epsilon. Vortex could potentially take the lead here with only a minute left to go.
There we go, and now Exertus get the lead. That was so close for Epsilon. If they could have just thrown that uplink drone out of bounds, I reckon they could have just set up very nicely and run the time down with 42 seconds left on the clock, though. Bance is looking set to get further points here, and that is going to be another Exertus, and not out of this just yet. It looked like it was going to be an Epsilon game. 30 seconds left. Can Reedy produce something here?
Yeah, Reedy knows he needs the 2 point play. He's got no support from his teammate. He's still going to go for it. Goes for the 1 point. Doesn't make that. That potentially could have put them in a very, very strong position. The drone is still in hands. The drone is going to go in favor of Nathan. Nathan's going to make a quick dive. Is he going to make it out of play? He's actually going to bounce back in, and this could be a great comeback. Nathan, what has he just done? Joe has capitalized on that, and that is 12-12. 10 seconds left to go, and what have we just seen, Rel? That is potentially the biggest mistake Nathan's made.
Hold on.
Even though he's going
32
to 15. I cannot even breathe right now commentating.
Wow, and that was such a crucial mistake by Exertus. Epsilon looked like they were going to drop that uplink game, but denied at the final seconds. Joe, very fortunate with that rebound off the gate, able to pick it up and go straight away for that carry capture. Oh, and that's going to be so frustrating for Exertus, so close to winning. We're going to overtime.
I honestly couldn't even keep up there. Nathan was, he was set. He did everything that he needed to do, dodged out the right place. All he needed to do was just throw that drone out of play, and that would have been game for his team right back in it. Obviously, mistakes happen. However, this is not over. Exertus still can fight their way back into it. Epsilon trying to stop them to do so. 1 piece of kill. Let's see what he can do. Joe, on your screen.
Well, All the players for Exertus go down, Rated looking to make this a very quick finish, and it's not only a very quick capture, 16 seconds, but it's a 2-point capture as well. That is what they've got to be. We're going to have to get straight on board with Exertus. This is going to be the most aggressive Exertus team you have ever seen. 16 seconds to get a carry capture.
Absolutely, and you're just going to see stun nade of that drone. You can tell right now, and you can see that by Rated honestly taking his teammate down. Wow, this could potentially go all the way. The drone's been stuck. Vortex trying to climb in. 2 seconds left to go. He's not going to be able to make it.
No.
Everything just went wrong, and you saw the pass there. Nathan was in he was in the actual portal.
He was in the Uplink centre. Oh, and that's so unfortunate for them. We were almost jokingly thinking that was going to be it. There is no way that they could have pulled that off. If that Uplink drone, if he could have just got up maybe 2 seconds earlier, the pass was there. He could have got that. He could have pulled that off. It's a very unfortunate loss there. I mean, don't get me wrong, even if they'd have won that game, there's still the rest of the best of 5 series to play out, and then there's another best of 5 series that would have to be played out as well. But it is going to be a 3-0 victory for Epsilon. The first 2 games, I mean, the Hardpoint 232 to 212, very close. The Search and Destroy, fairly one-sided to Epsilon, and that Uplink game, probably the closest Uplink game I've seen for a while, actually.
Yeah, I mean, that Uplink, I've got to say, that was awesome to cast over. I mean, to play that must have been so intense. Both sides of the overtime was crazy. We saw nearly 2 2-point plays in 16 or 15 seconds. Nathan, obviously, with a mistake there at the end. That's something he will watch back probably time and time again. These things happen. It's on the main stage at AM2PRO. If there was any time it could have happened, you should have done it then. However, they were 2-0 down. Even if he was to take the map, you saw how strong Epsilon were in the Hardpoint, the Search and Destroy. But obviously, massive congratulations to Epsilon taking the victory here. And Exertus, obviously, second place, not so bad.
Yeah, and this is it. And just going back to that, what's probably going to be a haunting moment for him, that Uplink run, if he could have just thrown it out of bounds, that would have been a victory for Exertus there, but it just wasn't to be. With that said, though, Exertus will play second here at the second AM2PRO event, walking away with £2,000. Epsilon, though, are going to be your champions, £3,000 prize pool, and of course the prestige of being the second AM2PRO champions. Just before we end this stream, just a big shout out to everyone that's been involved here, AM2PRO themselves, all the casters, the admins, the staff, the players, and of course you guys back home that have been watching and supporting this, tweeting the stream out. We really do appreciate it, and all you guys getting involved. That's going to be it from me, Rel and Momo. We are signing out. We hope you enjoyed the stream.